The next part of the investigation was in the attic. Many have heard footsteps and even dragging from this room, as if someone was struggling. It is believed that a former innkeeper's daughter, who once resided here 500 years ago, was brutally murdered in this room. John Humphrey's daughter Caroline has also stayed in this room back in 1989, when she came to live with her father and discovered for herself that the first time of strange happenings in this place when her bedside cabinet was thrown down the stairs of the attic. It is also believed that the room once became a hiding place for notorious highwaymen that would frequent the town. But this wasn't the activity we discovered in the Weaver's attic. Through haunted happenings, we conducted a Ouija board session. Now, I'm very sceptical about Ouija boards, but I've never experienced them up until this point. All of us barely touched the planchette and it seemed to work, and we managed to conjure up messages through the board. Here are some of the clips of our Ouija board session from that night.
Who's done a Ouija board before?
I have.
No. Some have, some haven't. Okay.
But I've done it with protective spells, so it's not
Right.
like I've done it in a dangerous way.
We don't tend to use protective spells. Personally, my belief is we don't need them. But what we can do is, if something comes through that we're not sure of, we can shut it down.
Cool.
Okay. There's no problem with that. You will not take anything away from this board tonight. Okay. Right, a little bit of history. Ouija boards, it wasn't even boards, it was pieces of paper, were first used by the Victorians. It was a parlour game. Oh, watch your head on that lamp, won't you? It was a parlour game. So it was something they used to do after dinner. So they'd get loads of little pieces of paper with numbers and letters on in a big circular table and use a glass. They'd have candles, they'd have all sorts. And they'd just play with it, basically. And that's how it started. And it wasn't until Hollywood got hold of these things in the sort of 1920s, 1930s, and they decided this would be great for films to sensationalise it. So they got hold of Ouija boards, and that's where things like, you know, the head spinning and all this demons coming through comes from. I've been using Ouija boards for over 7 years now, sort of once a week, 7 years. I carry them in my car, they've got them in my house. I've never ever seen anything demonic come through a Ouija board, alright? Depends where we go. We do get unpleasant spirits come through. Obviously you go to a prison or a jail, somewhere like that. Yeah, there's a chance you're going to get an unpleasant spirit come through. But you can generally tell who it is coming through, and you can shut them down. You can tell them to go. Sometimes it's their choice whether they go, but you can just keep shutting them down and then walk away from the table. You won't take anything with you. Okay. I'd say in about 60% of the times we do this, you get personal messages coming through for someone around the table. It's got to be 60%. Okay, so there's no guarantees as to what or who will come through. It depends which spirits are stronger on the night, who's around the table, the amount of energy generated. Okay, so all I would say is give it your best, be open-minded, go with it, don't lean on the planchette, keep your finger really, really light, because if you press down on that planchette it won't be able to move. If you see, it's got like 3 little bubbles on the bottom. If you press down on that, it won't move. If you keep your finger light, there's a chance that the spirits will be able to move it, alright?
Move it round again.
Yeah, just warm it up a little bit.
Spirit, are you a nice spirit? Are you a gentle spirit? I don't.
Is it moving?
Yeah.
Good. Yes.
Put it directly towards
That's
us.
better. Okay.
Are you happy with us being here tonight?
That's better.
Thank you for communicating that with us.
Oh.
How old are you when you died?
Are you sure no one's moving this?
No,
No,
I'm
it's
not
fine.
moving
I'm not
that.
even touching it either.
Now, are you using the point?
I think it's using the...
5. Just 5?
5, or is there another number, Spirit? Just 5, I think.
5. Oh.
That would fit with the movement, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yes, 5.
Guys, I'm going to put a piece of equipment out. It's called a Spirit Pod, and it measures EMF in the similar way the other machines did. It'll make a little funny noise when I switch it on and place it, but then it'll just show a blue light, and I'll show you what happens then when a spirit approaches it. So what we'll do is I'll put it over here.
Someone has a question.
Are you happy talking to us, Spirit?
Okay, so there's a little blue light here. What will happen if a spirit approaches it? It'll do that.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't want to ask this next question, but I feel I need to.
Go on then.
Were you murdered here? Oh man.
No, I
No.
think that's no.
No,
It's
it's going,
moving
yeah, it's going
That's
towards
going
now.
towards no.
Yeah, definitely no.
Oh.
Oh, thank goodness.
I'm just going to go a bit
I am
shallow.
barely
Keep going.
touching
Yeah,
this,
go
by
on.
the
Yeah,
way.
My finger's
I
literally
trust all
actually
of you.
hovering. It's not even touching it.
Are you able to spell your name out?
Just getting a chair, guys.
What's it?
Oh,
S. And it's been hovering over that S for a
it
while.
has been, hasn't it? I noticed that.
Move the white light further into the table if you
T.
want.
T.
Oh, hello.
Ooh.
Hiya.
Stephen. I just heard the name behind
Do you know what?
me.
As soon as
Did
Yeah.
as soon as S came up, I
Really?
instantly went Stephen.
But it's S-T-E-P-H.
Is your name?
Yeah.
Is your name Stephen?
I've just felt my entire shoulder
Yes.
go numb.
Really?
Yeah.
Which shoulder?
Nick, how did we both
The
know that was PH?
left one.
Left one.
Is your name Stephen?
Yes.
Oh.
Oh, hello, Stephen.
Ooh,
Right.
that's getting more now.
Thank
Nice.
you, Stephen. That was
You're
amazing.
Nice to
Mark.
meet you,
Are
Stephen.
Mark?
No, I'm John.
You're John.
Yeah.
Are you next to John, Stephen? Are you by John's shoulder? Thank you.
Oh, I just got tingles all through my
Doing
body.
so
That's
I am
what I
touching the
have,
back.
yeah.
I am
No,
touching
no,
the back
it was like
as well,
pins and
then.
needles,
Yeah.
goosebumps all through
Exactly
me.
that.
You're
Have you
doing
moved over
so
closer
well.
to me now?
Yeah.
Stephen, are your parents with you? They are. Oh, that's
Oh,
good.
that's
Oh,
good.
brilliant.
Ooh, ooh.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Take it back to the middle, guys.
That's nice.
That's
Nice to
really
hear.
nice.
Are they helping you?
Are there other members of your family with you?
I'm guessing a non-movement probably means no as well, because
Possibly,
that was
yeah.
very
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
if not no.
Oops, might be with his parents.
Were your parents kind to you?
Oh, that's nice to hear.
That's good.
D, or did that just stop?
I think we're just pointing it.
Yeah.
Stephen, are you happy where you are? No. No? Are you lonely? Oh, he's got his parents with him, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He is lonely. Perhaps he's got no friends to play with.
How many other spirits are here in this building?
Six? It's the 6.
Just 6.
Is
Yeah.
that right?
No? How many?
Oh, if you go 6, 6, 6, like, oh, yeah.
6.
66.
It could be just 6, couldn't it? Take it back to the middle, guys.
Spirit, do you know the bishop that lives here?
You're onto something there.
Keep going with those questions then.
Okay.
Was the bishop nasty to you?
Sorry.
No,
That's
I think
a
it was a
no.
no.
Good.
That would have been really cross.
Stephen, oh no, Stephen, was the bishop naughty?
No, now I'm cross.
That's the language he understands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just think of Tyler.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Was the bishop naughty to you, Stephen?
Feel that one in a move.
Dear.
I'm sorry, Stephen.
Yeah, we all are.
Questions again.
Do your parents protect you from the bishop?
Did you feel the fight between yes and no? Then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Do they?
Some
They
sort-
try.
I sort of
Sort of
felt the
do,
same
yeah.
thing when
Yeah.
he was answering the was the bishop naughty.
It was like,
Yeah, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to talk to us, Stephen. You won't get into trouble. We're here to help you.
Stephen, is there anybody else in this room apart from you tonight? No.
No.
It's really nice that you've been able to talk to us.
Oh, I just got goosebumps all from my body.
I'm really not liking this corner. I'm really not liking that corner.
Is there somebody stood in the corner when Nick is just pointing?
Are you stood in the corner?
Oh.
Oh.
Is it a bad person?
Because he said there was only him, didn't he?
No,
Yeah.
no. He's just.
Is
that
it you
you?
in the corner, Stephen?
Are you stood in the corner?
Oh.
Yeah, because I just got really bad, like.
Is he
All
hiding
through my
behind,
body.
is he hiding behind that
Hello,
beam? No,
Stephen.
do you think?
Come out and see us, Stephen. Come on, show yourself to
Yes.
us.
Are
We want
you
to see you.
Are you playing peekaboo?
Stephen, you see
Oh.
I'm shining the light on the beam here. Are you hiding behind that?
Are you
Are
playing?
you playing hide and seek?
That was my question.
Yeah.
We found you.
Are you going to go and hide again?
And to hide somewhere else.
Would you like to come over and say hello?
Stephen, there's a little blue light on the floor.
I was about to mention that.
Yeah, if you go and walk towards that, it'll light up all lovely colours. Can you do that? Do you want to walk towards it? It won't hurt you.
Do you just get that cold?
Yeah, yeah.
You got to breathe.
Straight down.
I got
yeah.
a breeze
Straight
just
down
to
here.
touch my
Like
face.
something's just walked.
Yeah.
Because you
Oh,
looked
I've
to the
just
side,
got that.
didn't you?
Yeah, I,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm getting really bad.
Yeah,
tingles.
this is like, I'm getting real like,
Oh, I'm getting tingly.
yeah.
From where's the barn I just passed it off his draft,
Mm.
that was just like someone's just walked past me. There's no other.
Mm.
It was just
Like
basically.
the
on my-
feeling of
that's just touched
when-
my hand.
when they say,
Yeah, I can feel
My-
it all over
yeah.
my hand.
someone's walked
Yeah.
over your grave.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, it's really cold.
Is that you, Stephen, touching
Oh.
your hands?
You got
I
it?
just got it then.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Like it's like a cold breath on my hand.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's you.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yay.
Hello,
Well
Stephen.
done.
Good
Well
lad.
done. Well done, Stephen.
Can you make the
Are your parents happy that you're talking to us?
No. That's a no.
No.
Yeah.
No.
They've come to put a stop to it, probably, haven't they?
Thank you for talking to us tonight,
We've got
Stephen.
about another 3 minutes anyway, so.
Is there anything you want to tell us, Stephen?
Would your parents like to talk to us?
Yes. Okay.
Okay, that's got a question.
What's your father's name?
Robert. I thought Robert before even the R came up.
It's going straight there, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, crap.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's how probably Stephen would spell it.
Yeah.
Hello, Robert.
How old is your father?
5. Because he's 5. That means everyone is 5.
Hold on.
53.
53? Is that right? Is your father 53?
I don't know how accurate that is because Tyler always says that we're like 100. So.
Yeah.
And what about your mum's name? Do you know your mum's name, Stephen?
What is that noise?
D.
R.
Deirdre?
Do you know what? Deirdre coming to my head is in the D. Yeah. It hasn't been over here yet.
Deirdre.
Is it Diana?
No.
I think it's Diana.
It's Diana.
Diana.
That's going to the A, yeah.
Yeah.
Just put it back to the middle.
How old's your mum, Robert?
Stephen,
Stephen.
Sorry, Stephen.
One.
51.
You can see how little touch I was
I've
putting
got
into it.
another breath go on my arm then.
We're going to have to wrap it up, guys, I'm afraid. You'll have free time later if you want to come back. See if you can get him back.
Would you like to talk to us later on, Stephen?
Come back and play some more games with you.
Thank you. Well done.
Oh.
Okay, guys, if you would take the planchette to the bottom of the board to the goodbye and actually say goodbye to him.
Goodbye, Stephen.
Goodbye, Stephen.
If you
Was it a boy named Stephen trying to reach out for us to play with him? Or was it our collective energies coming in sync to give out answers we all wanted to hear? No one knows for sure. I've uploaded the Ouija board session in its entirety on this channel. The link is in the description below. Before we actually went in to do the Ouija board, we've looked at a lot of videos and stuff on people doing Ouija boards before.
Yeah.
And it always looked like they were pushing so much pressure down on the planchette, so it was forcing them to move the planchette. So what surprised me the most was so little to no contact we had with that.
Yeah, we did it so lightly, like we were barely touching it.
Well, there was a point where I wasn't touching it at all.
Yeah.
I was like, literally, my finger was away from the planchette that even people noticed, like, you're not even touching it. It's really, it's like, yeah, I know. And that's what surprised me.
It's like we could all tell that each of us were like so lightly on it, and I have no idea how it moved.
Yeah, sort of still to this point on that, I'm like, how is this even remotely possible? I mean, you try and move it with pressure and you can't move it because obviously they had the 3 like legs at the bottom, didn't they?
Yeah, like the
and
little
you
balls.
put pressure on it and you can't move it around that board. You will move it together to make sure that you spin it around to get that energy going, that bit of friction on the board. Then all of a sudden it's moving on its own, just with a little bit of your help. And because, like I said in the past, like with, if a game has a reputation a bit like, say, Monopoly tends to tear apart families.
Oh, it does.
Yeah. But that has that reputation, and Ouija boards had the same reputation of being quite scary. And I thought, well, if anything that has a good enough background and good enough story, it can make anything scary. But then actually experiencing it, now I don't know whether it was something paranormal or science could explain that was all our collective consciousness or our collective energies moving that planchette, but it's just something I cannot seem to fathom.
But I feel like it wouldn't come up with names and stuff if it was just energy, would it?
Well, I don't know. I honestly don't. It's something I can't truly get my head around, you know. It's just a mystery, really, but it's a fascinating one, if that.
Yeah.
I just don't know how reliable a Ouija board actually is, but still, it was an experience.
Yeah, it made me more intrigued considering I was terrified of doing one before we even did one. I was like, oh God, what am I doing?
It was a funny thing because after that, you got so invested in doing it that you started looking up bits for yourself. It was really odd. Really odd. Well, guys, that wraps up this episode of The Ancient Ramin. Part 3 will be the final part of our ghost hunt with haunted happenings, and then from episode 4 all the way to the very end, it will be our investigation that took place on the 12th of March.
Yes.
This is something that, dear God, that does not disappoint. If you guys are interested in any more of our videos or any more of our hunts, please subscribe to our channel and click the notifications bell to get all the notifications of our next videos and everything. Until then, so long.
Bye.